wrap-up of what happened in the last few years and what might happen in the factories in the next few years in terms of technology that you can then deploy in your new projects. If you look at this graph, it shows the annual deployment, sales of solar PV panels over the last 40 years. And I think it's a logarithmic scale, and I think from a technological perspective, we can say this is a dream that has come true. The solar cell deployment grew by a factor of 10,000, and at the same time, in dollars per watt, the panels got 10,000 times cheaper. So a panel that cost 40 or 50,000 US dollars in 1988 now costs $50, meaning nothing. Solar panels today, in total cost per panel, are actually a very negligible part of the total cost of an installed solar system. And I think this dream run will continue. We need another factor of 10. We already deployed today 100 gigawatts per year. To put that in perspective, that is 100,000 football fields per year. And if we increase that by another factor of 10, then solar and wind, which happens in parallel, will completely disrupt the global energy system. And I think most people in the room here believe that and hope that it will really happen. Now, oops, how is this going? Okay. In terms of which technology has dominated over the last 40 years, it's mostly blue. Blue is crystalline silicon, mono and multicrystalline silicon. And at the top, you see there is today a small sliver, 5% of market share for the thin film technologies. And that is mostly cadmium telluride by First Solar in America. And that's a bit like Coca-Cola in solar. It's a great product. Nobody knows how they're doing it, right? And they have a monopoly on that type of technology. But their market share is shrinking. They cannot expand their factories at the rate the crystalline silicon people expand. A few years ago, if you would have bought a commercial panel, you would have usually picked one of these two, crystalline silicon, multi and monocrystalline, size 1.65 meters tall, a meter wide, and if it's multi, you had 260 watts. And if it's monocrystalline, 280. That was the typical standard about 3-4 years ago. And I show that later what we are today and what we can expect in the next few years. The race to the bottom, as I called it, this industry has been paranoid about cost. We had to bring down the dollar in dollars per watt. And I think, again, it's a dream run from whatever, more than $100 a watt to now 20 cents US a watt. And the floor is close, will soon be reached, $0.1. That's the floor of solar panel. So don't beg or hope even that the panels will ever cost less. That is the floor, because there is also a glass sheet, not only solar cells in the panel, and there is a high-performance back sheet and a polymer. So we have cost-wise reached the floor, basically. Now, what happens now in terms of innovation is we have to focus on the watt in dollars per watt, and that is the panel efficiency, the power output per panel, without increasing the panel size very much. And as mentioned before, why is solar now catching up? We have the fastest learning rate among all energy technologies in the world, 23%. Solar beats everything else in the world in terms of learning. And the more that we deploy, the cheaper it will get. And so you can assume panels will cost 10 cents a watt in whatever 10 or 15 years from now. But their efficiency will be much higher than today. This is now that if you build a typical rooftop system, say 10 kilowatt peak, then people always say, and I hear this again and again in conferences, even like here, solar panels are expensive, and this is all wrong. The solar panels, as you can see, it's less than a quarter of the total system of an installed system today. So don't tell me the solar panels are expensive, it's everything else. It's the BOS that makes up 75% of the panel price. And that now leads us to a new strategy to help the BOS guys who are really struggling in bringing down the cost. We help them by bringing up the efficiency of the panel. And let's say you need a megawatt, that they'll build in, you only need whatever 70% of the number of panels that you needed before. And that means there's cabling, there's support structures, there's fewer laborers, and that will help you to bring down the overall cost of the installed system. To go to higher efficiency, we move away from the dark blue part there, which is multicrystalline silicon, the cheapest silicon you can make, and we go to the light blue, which is monocrystalline, and the orange. So these monocrystalline wafers have higher electronic performance, and they allow us to go to higher panel efficiency. Without going into much detail, there are about 6 or 7 solar cell technologies in manufacturing today, and over time they are showing the efficiency of all these 6 technologies will go up. But as I mentioned, because of the trend towards the desire to go up in solar cell efficiency, we now have a switch from multicrystalline silicon to monocrystalline silicon wafers. Again, this is where China has helped a lot. They have really broken the crust and have broken the monopoly of former silicon manufacturers, wafer manufacturers, and now China goes in big time. And now monocrystalline silicon is almost the same price as multicrystalline silicon. And then, of course, if these wafers are available at low cost, we will use them, right? And so there is this switch to upwards. I call it the race to the top. We will race now to the top right corner of the graph, which is the limit of industrial silicon solar cells, which is about 26 or 27%. This will happen in the next 10 years, so there is still lots of room for improvement with the crystalline silicon panels. With this change in substrate, there is also a change to high-efficiency solar cell structures. The old-fashioned cell technology was called BSF, back surface field. This has been dominating the industry for 30 years, and now we move to something called PERC, and then SHA, silicon heterojunction, IBC, and tandem solar cells. So we have a switch towards higher high efficiency solar cell architectures. You might say, why doesn't this happen overnight? I agree, but remember they have to be at ultra low cost in dollars per watt. And so the first high efficiency cell that came into mass production about 3, 4, 5 years ago was the so-called PERC cell, initially developed in Australia using photolithography and complicated technology, and only in 2008 or 2010 about was it possible to transfer that laboratory type solar cell into mass production. And actually that was one of the first projects we did at SERIS when we were founded in 2008. We helped to develop this PERC technology, and RBC here in Singapore made the world's first multicrystalline PERC solar cell in 2014. Another thing which comes from the microelectronics world with transistors, bipolar transistors, or also from MOSFETs, you can use polycrystalline silicon and put a thin tunneling oxide between this polycrystalline silicon and the silicon wafer, and that gives you very good surface treatment. Very high voltages, very high solar cell efficiencies. This was used by the microelectronics industry in the 80s, but the solar guys could never transfer this into solar cell manufacturing. And the idea fell asleep or was forgotten for 25 years. And a few years ago in Germany, Fraunhofer ISE did some laboratory scale small area cells and got very nice efficiencies. And so we at SERIS and a few other industrial labs, we jumped at this idea. And at SERIS we developed a commercial or an industrial version of this polysilicon solar cell. We call it monopoly for mono-sided polycrystalline silicon deposition. And that's the schematic of the structure there in the top right corner. And here is a full-blown 3D schematic of the solar cell. I hope one day you will hear about the monopoly solar cell, which is going into high volume production. And then remember that thing was invented or developed in Singapore. It's all about the real surface here, where we use very high quality polycrystalline silicon and a tunnel oxide layer to basically switch off rear surface electronic losses. This is a graph how the efficiency of these monopoly cells or passivated contact cells improved. And as you can see, we have a very simple cell structure at SERIS, and we are among the leading labs there for large area passivated contact cells. And even more importantly, while developing the cell structure, we also developed an industrial high throughput tool which can deposit these polysilicon layers single-sidedly onto one side and not contaminating the other side at ultra-high speed. So this machine here is a new product by Meyer Burger. They bought an exclusive license for this technology, and this machine can coat 4,000 wafers per hour with this polysilicon layer and achieve 23% solar cell efficiency. So at least 10 solar cell manufacturers are very, very interested in trying out this monopoly solar cell technology and production equipment. Another trend that is happening at the moment is the switch to silicon heterojunction solar cells. This is another Ferrari, a very high efficiency structure where you put layers on the back and front side and don't touch the silicon wafer. You don't put impurities or dopant atoms inside of the wafer. You do everything on the outside surfaces, and this gives very high electronic quality and very high, world record high actually, solar cell efficiencies of up to close to 27%. And this is now a rise in industry, and I'm happy to report while 10 companies have tried to commercialize this in the last 6-7 years, including famous companies like Panasonic from Japan or Tesla in America. They have all failed. They could not come up with a product or a process that gives high yield, and the panels are robust and have low dollars per watt. And now I'm happy to announce that REC here in Singapore in the last 12 months has installed a production line of 600 megawatts of these heterojunction solar cells and modules, and they are really achieving fantastic results. I'll show you some numbers later. For the experts, this is a silicon heterojunction solar cell, so you buy a high quality wafer and you do all the processing on the surfaces at low temperatures so that the wafer cannot get contaminated by impurities that might be in your laboratory or in the factory. And so that gives you then incredibly high efficiencies of up to 26%. If you look at the thin film world, I mentioned First Solar. They are really amazing what they are doing. They also make now large panels. They are Series 6, and they are by far the largest thin film manufacturer in the world. I call them black box. They don't tell the people what they are doing. They don't tell the equipment suppliers. They buy from different suppliers, and nobody exactly knows how they make the equipment or how they run the process. But they achieve 22% on cell efficiency, and their commercial panels are about 80% thin film. This is quite remarkable, and it's a direct bandgap semiconductor material, so that means high bandgap, and you see a graph here from the company that these solar cells degrade or perform better in hot climates relative to crystalline silicon. And for that company, that is worthwhile to be put on their website. And that affects the Sahara, Middle East, or even Singapore. So there is a thin film technology which performs pretty well in hot and humid conditions like what we experience here. The other thin film technology that has also been around for 30 plus years is CIGS, copper, indium, gallium, selenium. Oh my goodness, 4 elements, which you have to bring them together at the right ratio. Everywhere on the mirrors, glass sheets. So this is not easy. But there is a company who is very good with this solar frontier in Japan, but they are also struggling. They do not ramp up factories anymore. They have one actually in Malaysia. They shut down several in Japan. So I think this technology will not go up in manufacturing output and might die out even. On the other side, there is a very hot topic, probably the hottest solar cell material on the planet at the moment, perovskites. Perovskite is a crystal structure, and that is here the orangey layer in the sandwich. So it's a sandwich layer of solar cell layers like the amorphous silicon solar cells, say, of 20 years ago. And amazingly, within 10 years, this new material, which was tried for solar cell, came from 0 solar cell efficiency to 25%. That has never happened before. Within 10 years to go from nothing to so high. So there is a lot of hope with this material. Obviously, it has some very special magic properties for solar, but it has also huge disadvantages. So far, it's not long-term stable. It contains lead. I mean, that's not what we want. But somehow this lead in the crystal structure does magic, and the solar cells are really good. They can be done on flexible substrates. The main application I see for these perovskites might be if we can put a perovskite solar cell on top of a silicon wafer solar cell. And that's shown here with the blue and red part of the spectrum. The dilemma or difficulty with the solar spectrum is it has a wide wavelength range. The energy comes in across many colors of the rainbow, as we know. And so it's easy to make one solar cell that converts one color of the rainbow well, but the challenge is to make a solar cell that can convert all colors of the sunlight very, very well. And so therefore, it might make sense to put two riders onto one bicycle, so to speak, to have two types of solar cells and put them back to back against each other onto a glass sheet and then have a better harvest of the solar spectrum. And this is now really a very hot topic in all national labs in the world. And the leading company in this field is Oxford PV in the UK. It's a spin-off from Cambridge University about 8 years ago. And they are now valued already at more than £100 million. And they have 28% efficiency with this perovskite on silicon tandem solar cell. So let's see what the future will bring. We also work here in Singapore on this structure together with NTU, and we are at 25.7% efficiency on a very small area. They are tiny solar cells yet, but at least we are in this efficiency race now as well. If we look now at the modules, let's put these new solar cell developments into panels, what happens there. In the panel world with silicon, one thing is we go from 3 bus bars like 5 years ago to 4, 5 or even 6 bus bars. That seems incremental, but again it has to be done at low cost and high yield. You can take this to the next level and use very skinny bus bars, so here in this case 12, we call this multi-bus bar. Or you even forget about the bus bars and then bring in an interconnect, a mesh of wires which connect one solar cell to the next in the panel. Another trend is we go to larger wafers. They get slightly larger and then you get more power from the module. Or we use half cutting the cells, we process them as a big cell, and then they are finished to be put into the package in the module. We cut them in half and then we'll reduce the current of the solar cell by half. And ohmic losses are a huge loss factor in panels, so that makes a lot of sense. This was also commercialized here in Singapore by REC 4 years ago, and now every company in the world is copying it, is doing it. So obviously it makes a lot of sense. And the other innovation we are trying is shingling. Like roof tiles on a roof, you can put the edges of solar cells one on top of each other to connect one solar cell, the back side of one cell, to the front side to the next. Like roof tiles on the roof. But okay, this is still early days, we try, but in principle it works. Now here is just some numbers, how much would that give you? Here is the more bus bars and then cutting the cells in half, and you see from the lower right graph there, you have a relative power gain in the module of 3–4% if you apply these tricks. And that's the type of innovation we need to pull out of the hat every year, a percent or 2 or 3 of improvement, and do that every year, year after year after year, and then in 10 or 20 years, our panels are much more powerful. The other thing is this wire I mentioned. Instead of these bus bars are usually like flat ribbons, quite wide, and they shape the solar cell. Can't we use round wires and then due to reflection down onto the solar cell we have much less shading by these interconnect wires? And that, as you can see from the graph again, you win another 2 or 3% extra in module power. So this is happening in the field. Here is a schematic of the company that invented this, they call it smart wire interconnect. So it's an array of 18 parallel wires in a plastic film, which will later be embedded, laminated into the solar cell and connects the front side of one cell to the back side of the neighboring cell, and that's how you build up voltage and you series connect the solar cells. It works pretty well. One application is our monopoly technology. We have collaborated with this company in Germany, Meyer-Burger, and here you see the first panel that we have made with this. We have 345 watts with using this monopoly new solar cell technology, 23% efficient, and the smart wire interconnect technology. Now if you compare this with what we had 4 years ago, so I remind, 2015 the module had about 280 watts, and now you compare that. Within 4 years we are from 280 at similar cost at 345 watts. And that's a huge jump. And that tells us, yes, there is still enough room for innovations with crystalline silicon, and that this will end up in the marketplace. You will be able to buy these 340 watt panels very, very soon. And a earth-shattering announcement by REC, they have secretly or quietly installed in Singapore here a 600 megawatt heterojunction technology. That technology where Tesla, Panasonic, and they all failed, and within 1 year they ramped up the production. And I saw it with my own eyes. Their panels are now up to 380 watts with no tricks, 60 cells, the same trick with half-cut solar cells and twin peak panels invented in Singapore. This is the world's best 60-cell panel that is available on the market today, made and developed in Singapore together with Meyer Burger, who developed the heterojunction technology, the production equipment for this factory line here in Singapore. This is the REC calls it the Alpha. I hope you will hear about this one as well. It's of course a Ferrari in a sense. They sell it into America where the prices you can get for your panels are higher than in other markets, but it's really an earth-shattering announcement, and I'm quite pleased, of course, to collaborate with REC and develop a world record type solar panel. One market segment which is not new again, 40 years old, has been tried again and again and again, is BIPV, and it's not taking off. We are still at the beginning, I must say. Everybody does their own thing. But here is the world's biggest BIPV house project. It's a school in Denmark. It's 12,000 square meters. Now, I think I like it, but the architects, generally their reply is, I don't like it. I wouldn't do it this way, right? But that's how architects are. They are artists, designers, and not engineers. But anyway, it shows you we can do it in different colors, right? We can do it, actually, we have a center of excellence for BIPV here in Singapore at SERIS, and you see, the solar panels itself now can be black or green or white. We are quite flexible. We can print them. We are very flexible. We need feedback from the community, from the architects. They need to help us what they want and what they would put into their projects, into their designs. But I must say the uptake commercially at the moment is still very, very slow. It's considered ugly, expensive. Nobody knows how much energy it produces, so we need this. We need BIPV because in urban environments like Singapore there is much more vertical area available than rooftop area. So we have to somehow crack this nut. There is one project here in Singapore where we are involved, so we have been given this facade to play with our BIPV solutions. Let's see what happens. It's about 2,000 square meters of colored BIPV. And now I'm running out of time. In conclusion, I hope I could convince you, solar is booming, will become one of the biggest industries in the world. In the next 10 to 15 years, it will remain crystalline silicon dominated. The trend there is to larger wafers, from multi to mono, high efficiency solar cell structures and heterojunction solar cells. The efficiencies of crystalline silicon modules are going up at an amazing rate. I think the rate of innovation has never been higher than actually today. It's quite amazing. When people thought that is a dead horse, it has reached its limit or ceiling. Not true. These are some numbers which you can expect in 2025. You guys, the project developers, will have these panels. And the Ferrari, there will be more than 24% panel efficiency. That means those panels, normal size, have more than 400 watts. So we go from 270 watts in 2015 to 400 watts in 2025. I think that is a good progress from the technological side. And then there is hope that one day we can do a tandem solar cell, say with perovskite on silicon or something else, thin film on silicon, and get that into mass production and get a 30% panel. That is our holy grail. It's like a moonshot or a flight to Mars, right? But I promise you, the researchers will keep working hard and day and night, so to speak, and we try to make it happen ASAP. Okay? And with that, I thank you very much for your attention.